Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Chico. Did you really just give 20 memberships? Oh my God, yo, we haven't even gotten started and we already got gifts. Thank you so much, Chico. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If you guys got a membership from Chico, my beautiful, wonderful mod, supporter, member and mod. If you guys got a membership from Chico, you guys drop a little heart for Chico. Say a little thank you. I appreciate you, Chico, so much. Thank you for doing that. I know we already got it started. Shout out to everybody in the chat. All right. Let me let me check something on my phone real quick because I just want to make sure we're ready to go. Shout out to everybody. Thank you for being here, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. And Sarah Lynn, thank you for becoming a member. Love, you are awesome. Wim, what are you going? You guys are having like a gifting party? What's up? Oh my God. Thank you, Wim. So Wim gifted 20. So Chico gifted 20. Wim gifted 20. So these wonderful, beautiful supporters of mine gifted a total of 40 members. Thank you so much. Yo, like that just makes me stop. All right, let me stop. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. And as usual, you guys are always gifting. So thank you. Sarah Lynn and Dorothy, thank you for becoming members. Welcome to the memberships. I know, my goodness. I know, man. This is so for those that are new to the channel, make sure you switch on the gifting option in the chat. It's not something I can do. You guys have to do that. So you might be a lucky random person that gets a gift. And this is why I love, like I said, I got some awesome supporters on my channel, always willing to give. You just never know. You just never know. Oh, okay. All right. Somebody take Chico's device. I can't with you, Chico. I can't even get started, y'all. Thank you, Chico. Thank you. So Wim gifted 20, Chico gifted 40. Thank you. All right, that's enough. Let's get started, y'all. Thank you, Chico. You know I love you very much. Yeah, Pika, take Chico's devices, cut the Wi-Fi right now, right now. Thank you, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. You better be done, Chico. Be done, okay? Please. And thank you again, Wim. All of you guys are awesome. Thank you. I know, man. I got the best. Everybody, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Ooh wee, I know. They're awesome. Oh, you know I'm gonna have to cut some of them. All right. Wim, put your device away. Chico, put your device away. Wim just gifted another 20. So a total of what? I can't even do math. A total of 80 memberships this morning. If you got a membership from Wim, Chico, out of everything, please put a heart in the chat. Thank you. I know, man. They're awesome. They're awesome, man. Can't even get started. I'm gonna have to do a timestamp. Thank you, guys. Whew. All right. I know. So I know, Emily. They're doing the Oprah Winfrey. You get a membership. You get a membership. Everybody get a membership. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. All right. Let's get started because we got a lot to cover and so little time to do it. Okay. Um, a lot happening with this case. Jordan Willis, no arrests yet, no foul play. Everybody's still where they need to be at, I guess. I don't know. Family is concerned. Neighbors are speaking out. It's a lot going on, right? So let's hit the ground running with this coverage and let's talk about it. And again, thank you guys for gifting memberships. Let's get going because what was it? News Nation, the Banfield coverage had a very interesting neighbor interview. Very, very interesting. And we got to talk about it. Okay. Let's get going.
I told you about Ashton Brady. He was the neighbor who lives right
Mm.
across from Jordan Willis, who just by happenstance looked out at the exact moment that 911 was being called. Ashton, we know now that that was Clayton's fiance that actually discovered those bodies, called 911 and then alerted the authorities. Just walk me through what you saw in that moment.
He saw
So
something.
basically, I was just going, turn off all my lights. I was getting ready for bed, locking the doors. I went to lock my front door, and I saw a woman come out of the backyard on her phone, and she looked distressed because she kept looking back towards the house, and I thought it was weird. But I just moved in, so I really didn't know much, and so I just went back to my room. 10 minutes later, I saw an ambulance drive by, and I said, "Well, that's just weird. Something's going on." Went to
Mm.
the front room. looked out and I saw that there was already 3 cop cars and there was a
Mm.
man detained, and the woman was talking to the other police. And
Wait, so all of this happened at night, or did they just get there at night? I'm kind of wondering. All of this happened at night, or did they just get there at night? I'm kind of wondering about because the footage that the neighbor, so this is the neighbor's footage, right? And the way they are showing this, Drew's like 2024, men are so nosy. I mean, how can you not be? It happened at night when the bodies were found. Thank you, Chai. Okay, and then Wim, thank you for the 14-month membership. Wim says, Chico forced me. Shout out to Chico. Dorothy, thank you for being a member for 5 months as well. Shout out to you guys. Thank you guys again for gifting and all your support. But that is the question that I had. Okay, so Meg says, I think she called police around 8 p.m. Yeah, it gets, especially when it's winter, right? Or, yeah, it would be winter. It gets dark early. It probably carried over into the night. So the neighbor starts filming because he starts seeing all these cop cars, right? I guess everybody's starting to film nowadays. I mean, who doesn't have a camera on their phone at this point?
basically, I kind of watched that conspire for an hour or two. The man eventually left. The police searched the house, went through the backyards and everything, and I had no idea what had happened. And the next morning, I saw the news that they had found 3 dead bodies, and I just was kind of in disbelief. I was like, "Wow, I watched that happen."
Right, and actually, we're looking at that video that you shot right there on the top left corner of your screen. So basically, you're saying that's the video where you're actually looking out and you can see Jordan Willis being detained.
That's probably within the first 5 to 10 minutes. I was like,
Look at
"Oh my
that.
goodness, something serious is going on at least." So yeah.
So your red flags were going off in that moment, but even before that, right? Because you saw some of these victims' cars that were right here parked in front of your house, and that also kind of alerted you, right? Because that was unusual.
So this is the neighbor across the street, and he see the cars. Y'all notice that? So the neighbors could see the cars. Neighbor across the street starts filming. You see those cars right there? Thumbs up. Jalapeno, thank you. Shout out to you. Thank you for watching from Pueblo, Colorado. Carolina, thank you for being a member. Caroline for 6 months. Thank you. But you'll see how close that is. Jackie, I'm wondering the same thing too. Like, was there a ring door camera? He had literally just moved in. Rhonda, I would be creeped out too. Like, what the hell's going on? It shows more. I would agree with you, beautiful messy ball. I mean, but you see that the neighbor can see their cars? Jalapeno, that's what I'm wondering. How did he not see the cars for 3 days? You see, even the neighbor can see the cars. This is just weird on weird, all of it, right? Like, none of it makes absolutely no sense to me. I mean, maybe it makes sense to you guys, but it doesn't make sense to me at this point. That's crazy.
Usual.
Yeah, we had just moved in, but that week we had never seen those cars there. And then all of a sudden, that whole weekend, there was cars parked right in front of our drive, and they never left. Not and they stayed there until the police came, and even after that, we found out they're deceased. Yes, those cars never left.
And obviously that was something that raised your suspicions at all. Tell me, I know you hadn't lived here for very long, right? But tell me at all about Jordan Willis, what you know about him. I mean, did you ever see him out and about? Was he friendly? Did he come by and talk to you ever?
Honestly, I have never seen him out. I never saw him or talked to him, so I cannot speak for that. Honestly, I do not know.
How about the fact that just something that is so strange, this case in general is bizarre and we don't have many answers. But the fact of the matter is three men were outside for 2 days on this backyard, one sitting up in a chair, two in laying down on their backs, frozen to death. I mean, how do you wrap your mind around all that information?
I, it's a lot, honestly. I imagine it has something to do with a bad drug or something, but I it's strange that how long it occurred for people for something to notice like that. If it happened on a Sunday, that's a long time, and I feel like
Right.
something should have been said, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's hard to say out loud because you don't have all the information. But the fact of the matter is, 3 men are now dead. Does it feel like you're getting, or your community is getting, the answers it deserves right now? That seems to be the big issue that the families have. Is it just doesn't feel like they're getting closure because they're not getting
Mm,
answers.
Yeah,
that's
I
a good
feel for the
question.
families and that they just want to know what really happened. And I feel like I mean, if we need to know, we need to know. I'm sure answers are going to come out, but I know a lot of people are wondering what happened around here. That's for sure.
I think we're all wondering what exactly happened, right? I'm just wondering as well. Okay, let me see. Some of you guys had some pretty awesome comments here. Let me read some of those so we can include you in the conversation, okay? Why did it take so long for this? Or am I just behind? You mean the neighbor, Tiki? So the neighbor is the one, this is the neighbor across the street from the house. And the neighbor had footage, happened to take footage the night of everything going down when the bodies were found. And so he's kind of talking, giving commentary to what is going on. But what he's pointing out, and the reporter's pointing out, is that he could see the cars. You could see the cars from the footage that belonged to the men. It's a lot of questions. Rhonda says exactly. Neighbor sees cars, but party host doesn't. The neighbor said he moved like a week later. I thought it took him 2 weeks to move. That's interesting. Everybody's going to become green. I love green. I'm Irish. Shout out to you. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Hold up. Cat's Eye says, unpopular opinion. I think the homeowner was exposed too. Knocked out for 50 hours. The warmth kept them alive. Cat Eyes, you're not the only one who has that opinion. I probably would share the same. And I don't think it's an unpopular. I think people are kind of just trying to understand is we can all agree to the fact that it's very likely that something was taken. We can agree to that, right? Something was taken, something was took. As far as substances, it's potentially, we're assuming that this toxicology report is going to come up with something in their system, right? But at the end of the day, did they willfully take it? Were they exposed to something willfully for three seemingly healthy men to die? In my opinion, these men are victims of something. I just don't know of what. We don't know of what. It's a lot of speculation. Stifler's mom says, I wonder if the police aren't calling him a suspect because they're afraid he will flee the country, especially since he packed up and moved so fast after this happened. Guilty. Well, Stifler's mom, I'm wondering if the reason they're not publicly naming him a suspect is because they don't want the internet to go crazy. I'm more inclined to believe that there's concerns about the internet going crazy, and saying stuff and getting into stuff more than anything. Thank you so much, Trace. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Queen Bella, welcome, welcome. Let me see what you guys are saying. Hold up. I am behind on the comments. My goodness. Yeah, SP Melissa says if homeowners was knocked out too, that would make sense that they all OD'd on something. Ooh, I know, right? Too late. The internet already went crazy. Victims of peer pressure. They were pressured to take something tainted, party favors. You thought you heard that he was asked, that's what I thought too, but then he moved fairly quickly. I would agree with you on that one, 17 I mean, seriously, there is a lot of confusion going out there. Now, there's also a lot of confusion going out there from Jordan Willis's attorney. Do y'all notice how Jordan Willis's attorney is no longer, I haven't heard him speak anymore. When was the last time he did an interview? Let me know in the chat because I'm looking to see if there's been any more recent interviews from Jordan Willis or Jordan Willis's attorney, and I haven't heard anything. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I've seen. No more. No more PR. Maybe he got fired. I don't know. He should have, especially with the confusional information he was giving.
Sure.
What is the talk of the town? How are people talking about it still? Because no doubt about it, the whole world is looking at this case and talking about it. So how do you and your friends talk about it, process it, work through this whole story?
We just kind of sit down and talk about it. Sometimes we're just randomly we'll be talking about like what could have really happened. Like how do your three buddies, like, just you not notice them for 2 days
Mhm.
outside in the backyard. So it's really strange for me, and all of our friends. It's really hard for me to say, but I feel like it had to been just maybe an accident. I don't know. It needs more investigation though, I think.
Ashton, hang tight.
Alex?
I think Ashley Banfield has a
Yeah,
question. Go ahead, Ashley.
I do. I don't think he can hear me with an IFB, but if he can't, pass this question on. Can you ask Ashton if he
Sure.
saw the bodies coming out of the house? Because we learned tonight on Chris Cuomo that the father of one of the men knew that one of the men was died or frozen in a position in a lawn chair on the back porch.
Oh my
And I wondered
God.
if he saw gurneys come out with 3 bodies, or if he saw something unusual in the position of the bodies that were brought out of the house.
Sure. We want to know what you saw beyond those initial things that you've shared already, in specific about the bodies coming out of this house. Were you still awake at that time? Did you witness gurneys or medical examiners actually coming out with these bodies or taking them out?
So I actually did not. After that, everyone kind of cleared out. So I didn't know what had happened. So I just went to bed. I thought it was just a misunderstanding or something between a wife and a husband, but that wasn't it at all. So I went to sleep, went to work the next day, and when I was at work, I got an email or a message from a friend, sending me the picture of the article about the dead people, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I honestly did not see an ambulance actually gurney anyone out or anything.
Yo, that is crazy. It is a disturbing question. I would say so. I'm like, Ashley Banfield knows how to bring it. I mean, she is a journalist to a certain degree, right? Shannon Lee, thank you for becoming a member. I mean, that is a very disturbing question. Emily, that's a good question too. Was it the attorney that told the 3 different stories, or was it Jordan Willis who told the attorney the 3 different stories? And that is the piece that, and I asked last time, which version of the events do you believe from Jordan? Do you believe the first, the second, or the third? Right. That's an awful question to ask. We'll look into that one here in a minute. That's an awful question to ask, but it was a question that was asked. You see the attorney telling the stories, just me, but the way I think it's like they're not seeing this as foul play. None of it, because they don't make sense. Lisa, you are not the only one, love. 3 men dead and 3 families destroyed. Someone needs to answer for this. Petty Kitty, I agree. He's a hot mess. Oh, Lord have mercy. Wow. You don't believe none, because he doesn't even believe it. Well, I don't even think the attorney believes everything that he has said.
What do you remember about the conditions during those days here in Kansas City? Obviously, these bodies were found frozen. Do you remember it being cold, freezing? Obviously, you saw this woman talking on her cell phone at night, 10 o'clock at night in the winter weather. And so that raised your alarms. But what do you remember just about the temperatures or the weather around that time?
It was cold. It was really cold. I'd gone hunting that Sunday, and we hunted a pond, and we actually had to put a pretty much an ice prop in there to make the pond open. So I
Wow.
mean, if that tells you anything, we could walk on the ice. That's how thick it was. So I mean, it was definitely below freezing, and not temperatures you want to just be outside hanging out in with with no clothes.
Yeah, enough to raise red flags. Ashton, thank you very much for sharing that insight with us.
Thank you for watching.
Oh, man. I mean, that is a tough question. So let's go to it, okay? Let's go ahead and go to what was asked. Hold up. We got the footage right over here. Let's go.
You can't leave what happened in Kansas City alone. You can't have these families with these young guys had their whole lives in front of them, and there's just no answer. And the authorities aren't saying anything. I respect the authorities doing things the right way, but according to one of the guys involved here, his attorney, they don't expect foul play. Then why don't you give the family some answers?
Exactly.
So these 3 men in Kansas City, you know the story. They were found frozen to death in their buddy's backyard in a way that we haven't heard before, by the way, which you're going to hear in a moment. But no gunshot, no stab wound, no ligature, meaning nobody had strangled them, apparently. Okay. So they send it out for an autopsy and toxicology. They say 8 weeks. 8 weeks. You can't bury, you can't mourn, you can't know. The families want answers. So
Wait a minute. wait a minute. So when Jordan recently spoke to, okay, see, this is a shit that's not making sense. Jordan recently spoke to a source that spoke to, I think it was the New York Post or some other, right? And he said that he was upset because he couldn't attend funerals, he couldn't attend, different services and stuff. So are they holding the bodies for 8 weeks? Or have they had a funeral, or they had like maybe they had like a memorial service without the body? Um, are they holding the bodies until all the toxicology is done? Is that, I mean, I don't know. You guys let me know in the chat. It is all very odd, Eve. I would agree with you on that. Because none of this is making sense. I guess it would have to hold the body for 8 weeks. I don't think that that's protocol. I mean, I don't know.
We keep doing the story, and not to hype about it, because we
Do you
can
think
only
they did?
know what is shown. All right. The family knows what these guys were about and what they were doing and who this friend was to them. Let's bring in the brother of Ricky Johnson, one of the deceased. We had his father on last week. Jonathan Price is his name, and he joins us now. Jonathan, I'm sorry for your loss.
Sad.
Thank you, Chris.
So how's the family holding up with the unknown?
It's the same every day, with the lack of answers, the inability to really truly mourn without any form of cause. It's just very difficult. I don't think I'll ever move on until, I mean, really, I'll never move on, but especially not knowing what happened to my brother. That's, and I'm not one of these people that tries to speculate and stuff like that, but I just I want ideas out there. I want to be involved more. My mother, Ricky's father, they want to be involved more, and we're just not getting answers from anybody.
They're not getting answers. They're not getting answers. But you guys said, okay, let me read this. Zena says that's not normal protocol holding the bodies for toxicology. I just thought they could do tests and then release the bodies. But hold up. Emily says they don't need the entire body for lab test results. That doesn't make sense, right? So when there was a source in the New York Post that basically said Jordan was upset because he can't attend any of the funerals and stuff like that, or decided not to attend any of the funerals, I'm under the assumption that they've already had funerals. So are they still holding these bodies? And honestly, I'm at this point where it's like, if this toxicology result says something weird, I would probably request a second opinion. I don't know. They held my brother and his wife bodies for over a month trying to track down where the fent lace coke came from. Wow. So they can hold them. I would agree they deserve answers. They don't need to hold the bodies. They need to take blood and other fluids. My son needed toxicology. He died in suspicious circumstances. Wow. They can take tissues. They run their tests. Holding them indefinitely doesn't mesh out. They do autopsies and send samples off. Wow. But that's but it's been about a little over 2 weeks, 3 weeks now since all of this went down. So this toxicology report shouldn't take too long. Wow. I don't know. Just seems off.
The people that claim they're doing the investigation.
So is it true that you guys have been trying to get the police to tell you what's happening and that they are not in communication with you?
That's correct.
Is there any reason? Is there some protocol in Kansas City I'm not aware of where they're not allowed to interface with the families of victims of crimes? Because usually that's like the main interface.
Ooh.
Yes, and you would think so. Especially with something like this. And I'm not saying there was or was not a crime, but if you immediately suspect no foul play, then you should have a story. You should.
Yes, I would agree with that. And also, so maybe that is the issue why law enforcement isn't communicating with them, because like I said, and we've said time and time again, they're not seeing this as foul play. So we have these people that are wanting answers. If there is no foul play, then they should have said to them already, listen, we haven't made this public, but we believe this was an accident. This is why we're saying no foul play. But they're not even telling them that. They're not giving them anything. They're not saying anything to these people, and they need answers. And you know what? I even think that the neighbors need to know to a certain degree, because this is their neighborhood. They want, I mean, were they dealing with somebody that was doing stuff, or for all we know, we don't know. It's a lot.
Should have something to tell the families, and for no one to hear anything, that doesn't make any sense. And I think that's one of the main reasons why this is getting so big.
So, two things that you've said that I haven't heard before. One, you seem to know something about where these men were found that I haven't heard. What information do you have about specifically where they were in the backyard and how they were situated?
Well, I don't have firsthand knowledge, but I have heard, because as being a brother, I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at everything anybody posts, whether it's information I feel is useful or information I don't feel is useful. But information I did find.
Well, you also know who found them,
was
right? I mean, they were found
Yeah.
by an extended family member. So you guys are in contact. So go ahead, tell the audience.
Yeah. So I believe David was found in a lawn chair on the back porch, rather than all three laying flat, which definitely paints a picture we did not have from the very beginning. And it definitely brings up some questions that you would have, especially with somebody that, I don't care who you are, where you live. If it's snowing outside, you're looking at how bad it's getting, especially if you have any type of responsibilities of leaving your house in any way, shape, or form.
Whoa.
It doesn't matter.
So he was found on the lawn chair, like sitting on the lawn chair. Did y'all hear that? Was he on the lawn chair? Like he was sitting on the lawn chair? That's interesting information. Sitting in the chair on the porch. He said on. He didn't say sitting. Thank you. I'm assuming he's sitting. He could have gone out for air. See, I don't want to. He didn't say sitting. We can go back to it. All right, hold up, because I don't want to assume. Hold up.
These men were found that I haven't heard. What information do you have about specifically where they were in the backyard and how they were situated?
How they were situated.
Well, I don't have firsthand knowledge, but I have heard, because as being a brother, I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at everything anybody posts, whether it's information I feel is useful or information I don't feel is useful. But information I did find.
Well, you also know who found them,
was
right? I mean, they were found by an extended family member. So you guys are in contact. So go ahead, tell the audience.
Yeah. So I believe David was found in a lawn chair on the back porch, rather than all three laying flat.
In the lawn chair on the back porch. He didn't say sitting. In the lawn, I don't know, laying on the lawn chair? I guess that would be a question. Hold up, let me see what you guys are saying. Right, Wim. Did he fall asleep, drunk, freezing in the weather? Was he? It's a great question. In the lawn chair. In. Not sitting, just in the lawn chair. He did not say flat. Yeah, a lot of us, I would assume sitting too. Laying in a lawn chair on, I don't know. Right, and the other two were laying on the ground? The other two were laying. You take in as sitting? I don't know. We can infer sitting. That's what I was assuming too, but I don't want to infer anything at this point, Kevin. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, do I really want to infer? It's a lot of information.
which definitely paints a picture we did not have from the very beginning. And it definitely brings up some questions that you would have, especially with somebody that, I don't care who you are, where you live. If it's snowing outside, you're looking at how bad it's getting, especially if you have any type of responsibilities of leaving your house in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter if you work from home, you got to leave sometime. And from his lawyer, we don't know if he left or not, because he started out saying that he left the home sporadically throughout the day. And then another one where he was home for 50 hours with no leaving the
And
house
they had
or looking out a
cars.
window.
And there were
Yes.
cars outside in front.
Mhm.
And you have a feeling that an intoxicant was involved, and you know your brother, and this is not a judgment thing. I don't care how he liked to spend his free time. It's not what this is about. You believe that the answer here lies in something that your brother didn't know he was taking.
Yes, absolutely. I don't even.
And that would, in my opinion, make like if he didn't know what he was taking. Now, listen, I don't want to assume, but that, in my opinion, would make him a victim. Like that would make you a victim of something at this point.
Speculate on what my brother has or has not done in the past, because that wouldn't be firsthand knowledge of mine either. I just know that my brother was a good man. He loved his daughters to death. He absolutely had future plans to be a father to them for the rest of their lives, and he would not jeopardize that. So it just doesn't make any sense.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to
So
newsnationnow.com.
thank you, Doc, for the $5.99. Thank you. So this goes back to Ashley Banfield when she asked that question. We're going to go back a little bit because now this makes sense with this Chris Cuomo interview, what the brother is saying. When she asked that follow-up question to, I forgot, it's Ashton, I think that's his name, the neighbor. It's a lot that's not making sense at this point. Now, Ashton, for those that are coming in and have not seen this, he had said that they had seen the cars out there. He decides to record. We're going to watch this again. And then it's that last question that kind of gets to me that I was like, what is Ashley asking? Now it's making sense as to what Chris Cuomo's interview with the brother.
You remember I told you about Ashton Brady. He was the neighbor who lives right across from Jordan Willis, who just by happenstance looked out at the exact moment that 911 was being called. Ashton, we know now that that was Clayton's fiance that actually discovered those bodies, called 911 and alerted the authorities. Just walk me through what you saw in that moment.
For those that were asking whose fiance, that was Clayton. They just said the name. And Clayton was one of the men's that was of the three.
So basically, I was just going, turn off all my lights. I was getting ready for bed, locking the doors. I went to lock my front door, and I saw a woman come out of the backyard on her phone, and she looked distressed because she kept looking back towards the house, and I thought it was weird. But I just moved in, so I really didn't know much, and so I just went back to my room. 10 minutes later, I saw an ambulance drive by, and I said, "Well, that's just weird. Something's going on." Went to the front room, looked out, and I saw that there was already 3 cop cars and there was a man detained, and the woman was talking to the other police. And basically, I kind of watched that conspire for an hour or two. The man eventually left. The police searched the house, went through the backyards and everything, and I had no idea what had happened. And the next morning, I saw the news that they had found 3 dead bodies, and I just was kind of in disbelief. I was like, wow, I watched that happen.
Right, and actually we're looking at that video that you shot right there on the top left corner of your screen. So basically you're saying that's the video where you're actually looking out and you can see Jordan Willis being detained.
That's probably within the first 5 to 10 minutes. I was like, oh my goodness, something.
Look at that. They had a lot of people there too. And SW, thank you so much for gifting. If you guys got a gift from SW, please drop a heart in the chat. Thank you, SW. You're awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I would be in shock, but you imagine being the neighbors detained with handcuffs. So they did search the house the night they found them. Well, how honestly, Penny, for your thoughts, like if they had searched the house, how much could they have searched just right then and there? You know what I'm saying? Like no search warrant, no nothing, anything more? I'm just wondering.
Serious is going on at least. So yeah.
So your red flags were going off in that moment, but even before that, right? Because you saw some of these victims' cars that were right here parked in front of your house, and that also kind of alerted you, right? Because that was unusual.
Yeah, we had just moved in, but that week we had never seen those cars there, and then all of a sudden that whole weekend there was cars parked right in front of our drive, and they never left. Not and they stayed there until the police came, and even
Mm.
after that we found out they're deceased. And but yes, those cars never left.
And obviously that was something that raised your suspicions at all. Tell me, I know you hadn't lived here for very long, right? But tell me at all about Jordan Willis, what you know about him. I mean, did you ever see him out and about? Was he friendly? Did he come by and talk to you ever?
Honestly, I have never seen him out. I never saw him or talked to him, so I cannot speak for that. Honestly, I do not know.
How about the fact that just something that is so strange, this case in general is bizarre and we don't have many answers, but the
Do we know? I can't really get an image. Maybe I need to zoom in a little bit more. But when he's filming, you could see the cars, right? Do we know which car belonged to who at this point? I'm kind of wondering because I thought that if I remember correctly, the three friends were in. They took two cars. I don't think it was three different cars. Oh, see, it says I heard the guy's lawyer is his friend. Isn't that a conflict of interest? Sometimes I guess it depends, you know. But I'm wondering how many cars. When did Jordans bring dogs to dad? Was it before or after? I am glad that the neighbors spoke out too. I think that's what needed to happen. When they found the bodies, they likely searched at least the backyard. They didn't search anywhere else in the house. Kind of makes you wonder too, though. Neuropsych, I'm wondering about that. Was he asleep? My understanding is that he woke up when police got there. I mean, can you imagine being the fiance? I wouldn't even go near the house. Like, I would be so scared. Okay. I wonder if they took him down to the police station and questioned him. They should have. I truly hope. The video makes you seasick. I'm sorry. Let me see what else you guys are saying. If he gave them permission, he didn't need a search warrant, I assume. I assume, right? That's the assumption that I would have as well. I know it must be hard to find any friends of yours deceased, but I'm glad that she did not find, excuse me, her own fiance. I would agree as well. I really appreciate how Robin is digging into this deep. It's important to get all the details. Yeah, and Petty Kitty, trust me, I don't know all the details. So much of this is because I came in late to covering this case. I'm learning as I go. If you guys can do me a favor, for those that, if you could support the channel by hitting the like button, it would be appreciated. Jules is in the house. She said he saw them walking around his house with flashlight. See, and this is what. So, Jules, you might know this detail, but I heard somewhere, and I can't really remember where I heard this, that that when he had a wine glass when the police got there, like he was drinking like nothing was going on, so he had already been awake by then. Let me know if that's like I can't remember who told me that detail or where I got that from, but that is interesting. But he also said he saw the fiance coming from the backyard, right? I don't know how she didn't see all three. Maybe it was just too dark. Yeah, and she was the only one. Well, and you see, if you look at if everything happened the way that this neighbor is saying, it is dark outside. Snowing, pitch black. I don't know. Okay, thank you, Jules. She says, yes, ma'am. I have photos from the neighbors. He answered the door with an empty wine glass in his hand, blue boxers, and a brownish robe. Well, who took the photos? Are you kidding me? So he had already been awake. Girl, no. It wasn't like police got there and he woke up. You're talking about he had been awake for. I haven't seen this. Are you? I heard. I just didn't see this. Are y'all serious? See, is this the first time you guys hear this shit? Because this is the first time I heard this. It is shady. Oh my God. Oh wow. Hold up. I'm gonna let me search. Okay, I'm gonna search.
the fact of the matter is, three men were outside for 2 days on this backyard, one sitting up in a chair, two in laying down on their backs, frozen to death. I mean, how do you wrap your mind around all that information?
It's a lot, honestly. I imagine it has something to do with a bad drug or something. But I it's strange that how long it occurred for people for something to notice like that if it happened on a Sunday. That's a long time, and I feel like something should have been said, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's hard to say out loud because you don't have all the information, but the fact of the matter is 3 men are now dead. Does it feel like you're getting, or your community is getting, the answers it deserves right now? That seems to be the big issue that the families have, is it just doesn't feel like they're getting closure because they're not getting answers.
Yeah, I feel for the families and that they just want to know what really happened. And I feel like I mean, if we need
Oh
to know, we need
shit.
to know. I'm sure answers are going to
Mm-mm.
come out, but I know a lot of people are wondering what happened around here. That's for sure.
What is the talk of the town? How are people talking about it still? Because no doubt
Yeah.
about it, the whole world is looking at this case and talking.
Let me stop right here. So this is so MSN.com took it from the Daily Mail. And here it is. It says, okay, let me make myself smaller. Hold up, y'all. Eventually, the fiance of one of the men broke into the house through the basement and found the first body in the backyard. She then called police, who arrived to find Willis in his underwear holding a wine glass. So he was found that way. Okay. You've known of this for over a week. That's why he was purposely ignoring the fiance, because she was screaming his name. Gotcha. Robo apps, which is what the attorney said, don't block phone contacts. He was reading their messages. So shady. uh, Jordan, Jordan, get the F out of here with that. Are you serious? Wow. So you could find this. Yeah, this is everywhere. See, I didn't know this piece. I literally thought this was, so I had heard it somewhere, but I wasn't sure. I literally thought that when law enforcement got there after the fiance called, right, that he was just waking up from his 48-hour slumber. All right. That was my thought process behind that. I say he just woke up. No, he had a wine glass bottle and he was walking around in his underwear. So he was awake. Yeah, if he was awake, then that throws shade on all version of events. All three different versions. All three of them. 1, 2, 3. Mm. Yeah, that's crazy. That's the crazy part. So the lawyer also on News Nation, we all saw that he submitted phone records to News Nation, and he did not read any messages according to the records. But if it's a robo app, is it going to is it going to pick up that information? Like if I make a call through AT&T or Verizon, right? Whatever my phone company is. And or if I make a call through Google Voice, or if I make a call through like a third party app, is all of that going to register through the phone company? I don't think so. I could be wrong. 100% Rabbit. If the police said no foul play, they've not done their job properly, or the case will turn around when we least expect it. There could be an arrest. Yeah, the family were sending them messages. I heard about the messages also on Facebook, and they were being shown receipts of him reading the messages. I don't know. And if he crashed out on the couch, he would have been in clothing, because he claims the guys were there when he passed out on the couch. But he's in boxers and a robe at 10 p.m. Like that's normal with noise canceling headphones and a fan. None of this is making sense. No, confusional, right? Like no pressure on this case. And the fifth guy was also claiming he was messaging him. He knows that guy. His messages wouldn't be blocked by the app. I didn't think so either. Unless you purposely block a number, the phone should show up on a call log and text. It may not be saved as a contact, but the phone number shows up. See, you can read minds and notifications without opening the app. That's true. Like I get notifications of messages, and it doesn't tell the reader that I read them, but I get them. And I guess if I click on the app, it'll let them know that I read it. Okay, SW says, I have Robo Blocker. All listed friends in contact come through. You get the previous message? Yeah, those yep. When I get those robocalls, I immediately block them, but my phone doesn't ring. So they block by my phone app or by my app. DB says, shout out to DB who's been a member for 4 months. He's not telling the truth, the full truth. That's it. I hope law enforcement decides to dig further. This is nuts. See, this is the piece where I heard rumors about it, but I wasn't sure if it was like really like confirmed like that. So now we know. So it wasn't like this to me changes everything. It wasn't like this man was woken up by law enforcement, right? Knock, knock, knock. And then he's waking up 48 hours later, completely lost and delusional. And he's like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. No, he's having wine and he's in his boxers while his friends are frozen to death outside in his backyard. Get out of here. Get out of here. Gotcha. I'm lost. I feel for the families too, Daisy girl. If somebody knows the truth. Somebody's not being honest here. Somebody knows the truth. I'm sorry. I'm just not buying this shit anymore. Like that is, and how law enforcement doesn't see through this, or maybe they do and they're just acting oblivious. Could very well be the situation. But shout out to Jules. Thank you for that. I heard it. I just didn't know if there was actual truth to any of that. It is. The police have something. It doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. Okay, you just posted the picture of him answering the door for the cops in the community tab, Rabbit. Yeah, thank you. You guys, and make sure you guys go check out Jules of All Trades True Crime. Excellent coverage on Brian Koberger. Girl really gets into it. I mean, she really gives you a different way of thinking things. Let me go to it. Hold up, Jules of All Trades. Let me go to the channel right quick. Hold up. Oh my, get the hell out of here. Hold up. All right, get out of here. Hold up. Y'all see this? He answered the door that way? So since the neighbor's video of Jordan Willis being cuffed the night the cops were called to his house is now out there, I figured I'd post the pictures that was sent to me by someone in the area that night. He answered the door in blue boxers and a robe, holding a wine glass, according to news reports. Wow. I can't really see the wine glass bottle. Hold up. But wow. I mean, damn. I hope I don't get like reported over this man wearing his boxers, but get out of here. Did he at least put his pants on first? Go check out Jules of All Trades True Crime. Check her out, please. All right. Check her. Somebody said, can he at least wear his pants? This is on her community tab, Zena. Yeah, I mean, he looks warm. You know, he's got the jacket in there. I cannot. You do see the one? I don't see it. Is it on the side? Maybe it's on the side of his head. I don't know. Y'all see? Maybe it's like over here or something. Right there. Hold up. Let me see if I can zoom in. How much y'all want to zoom in? Oh, okay. All right. Hold up. Right there. Y'all see that? Closer look. He looks rough. He looked like he partied all night. He said not sexy. Shut up. All right. Y'all are too much. Yes, I think they're blue, pretty sweet pea. Oh, look at what it's like. Yep, it's in his hands. Wow. Well, he partied all night. Emily said that man stinks. Oh, y'all are too much. I know, right? Cause it's not considering partying all night if you don't stop, right? Those are boxers. I think those are boxers. Yeah. Well, yeah, he stank for days. He stank for days. Oh my gosh, yo. Yeah, Adrian, you gotta misspell those cursey words, love, because the thing will block you. All right, all right, all right. So to me, in my opinion, this based on I had never seen this picture before. Based on that picture, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm just not buying it. He looked like he partied with his attorney. That's what they look like. They both party together. Yeah, yeah, I would say so too. Kind of like grayish, brownish robe, and the unbuttoned shorts over boxers. Hmm. Yeah, right, Nebulous? I don't know. Yo, here's the point. I'm not buying the story anymore. Like I would have been like, yeah, like he slept, it was an accident, maybe something happened. Dude woke up with a wine bottle. Dude had a wine bottle with him. He'd probably been awake for many hours, sitting on his couch watching something. He saw his phone. None of this is making sense. He probably partied with the attorney. He does look rough. I'm not buying it. None of it. About the neighbor, I'm confused. The first neighbor said he found out about the three bodies that night. Second, he said that someone texted the next day at work, told him what happened. I've only Karen Lee, how many neighbors have you heard speak out? I've only heard of one, and this is the one. Did you keep wait? Are you saying he's saying different versions of the story? Hold up.
You remember I told you about Ashton Brady. He was the neighbor who lives right across from Jordan Willis, who just by happenstance looked out at the exact moment that 911 was being called. Ashton, we know now that that was Clayton's fiance that actually discovered those bodies, called 911, and then alerted the authorities. Just walk me through what you saw in
Oh,
that moment.
okay.
So basically, I was just going.
SW, you said two different neighbors were interviewed. I've only heard of this one. Two neighbors provided new statements. Okay, got you, Ghost. All right. See, I told you all I was late covering this. So the first neighbor, hold up, going to Karen Lee's comment, which I think is a very good comment, is about the neighbors. I'm confused. The first neighbor said he found out about the three bodies at night. Second, the second neighbor said someone texted him the next day. Yeah, so it sounds like the first neighbor heard about the bodies at night. Then this neighbor, being the second neighbor, said that someone texted him, which would make sense. I mean, it's just two different neighbors, right? He said on the first interview, a friend called him at work. Second, said he heard it on the news. All right, well, let's play it again. How about that? Okay.
Turn off all my lights. I was getting ready for bed, locking the doors. I went to lock my front door, and I saw a woman come out of the backyard on her phone, and she looked distressed because she kept looking back towards the house, and I thought it was weird. But I just moved in, so I really didn't know much, and so I just went back to my room. 10 minutes later, I saw an ambulance drive by, and I said, "Well, that's just weird. Something's going on." Went to the front room, looked out, and I saw that there was already three cop cars, and there was a man detained, and the woman was talking to the other police. And basically, I kind of watched that conspire for an hour or two. The man eventually left. The police searched the house, went through the backyards and everything, and I had no idea what had happened. And the next morning, I saw the news that they had found three dead bodies, and I just was kind of in disbelief. I was like, wow, I watched that happen.
So he was filming, he was the one recording, and he said he watched that happen. That's when he found about the dead bodies. You played two from the same neighbor. Yeah, this is the same neighbor. This is only the one neighbor I've only played. I haven't played the other one. Hmm. He said he got an email message from someone with the news article. There you go. Hold up.
Basically, I kind of watched that conspire for an hour or two. The man eventually left.
Me too.
The police searched the house, went through the backyards and everything, and I had no idea what had happened. And the next morning, I saw the news that they had found 3 dead bodies, and I just was kind of in disbelief. I was like, wow, I watched that happen.
Huh.
Right. And actually, we're looking at that video that you shot right there on the top left corner of your screen. So basically, you're saying that's the video where you're actually looking out and you can see Jordan Willis being detained.
That's probably within the first 5 to 10 minutes. I was like, oh my goodness, something serious is going on at least. So yeah.
So your red flags were going off in that moment, but even before that, right? Because you saw some of these victims' cars that were right here parked in front of your house, and that also kind of alerted you, right? Because that was unusual.
Yeah, we had just moved in, but that week we had never seen those cars there. And then all of a sudden, that whole weekend, there was cars parked right in front of our drive, and they never left. And they stayed there until the police came, and even after that, we found out they're deceased. But yes, those cars never.
So here's my question: what made him want to record? It's weird, huh? And then he saw the news doesn't technically mean he physically saw it on the news channels. It's true. I don't know. I've had police come to the neighbors. Doesn't typically mean I want to record. But nowadays anything can be recorded, I guess. I don't know. It's weird, huh? And it's interesting. Hold up. If he came out with the bottle, just because says, why would he have a wine glass or a bottle in his hand when he answered the door to the police? So if you're I don't know, in this area, right? I know in the area that I'm from, like, you need to be coherent when you're talking to the police, but I don't know if it necessarily applies to where they're at. I don't know. Nobody's blaming anything on him. I said it's weird to have that. I mean, typically just it's a different response. Doesn't mean he did anything. So why would I be blaming on him? Okay. Why don't we not do the all caps? We see you, love. That's not strange. You have guests for the weekend. It's true. Perhaps he thought a dispute with the fiance coming out like he did. Maybe that's why he decided to record. You would probably take pictures. I mean, how many? Well, and it's true. Everybody's got a phone, you know? I don't know, man. Truth is stranger than fiction a lot of times. Absolutely. I would agree with you on that. I feel like at this point, we're at this point where everybody needs, we all need to be recording stuff. How do you hold onto a wine glass for 48 hours? The way he speaks on this video is more like he planned to post it on social media for clicks. He was very loud and exaggerated in how he talks. You can hear him speaking in the news version. Ooh. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, for your own safety. Everything and everybody. Thank you, Miss Leah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you just got to be careful. If you have just woken up, if the wine glass or bottle is on the table, he's thirsty after what? Waking up, he grabs to drink something, says Denise. Shout out to Denise. She was yelling for them outside and trying to get in. He probably heard the yelling. Yeah, like he probably thought it was like a domestic situation. That could very well be the case. Okay, Shannon, thank you. It's not admissible in court if under the influence. The lawyer can move to ban anything he said to police while under the influence without a lawyer. Interesting. Ooh, and then talks like it's being DV. He recorded it and sent it to someone or posted it. The original version is on Twitter. Interesting, huh?
Never left.
Let
And
me go
obviously
check
that was
Twitter.
something that raised your suspicions at all. Tell me, I know you hadn't lived here for very long, right? But tell me at all about Jordan Willis, what you know about him. I mean, did you ever see him out and about? Was he friendly? Did he come by and talk to you ever?
Honestly, I've never seen him out. I never saw him or talked to him, so I cannot speak for that. Honestly, I do not know.
How about the fact that just something that is so strange. This case in general is bizarre, and we don't have many answers. But the fact of the matter is, 3 men were outside for 2 days on this backyard. One sitting up in a chair, two laying
I
down on
found
their
it.
backs, frozen to death. I mean, how do you wrap your mind around all that information?
It's a lot, honestly. I imagine it has something to do with a bad drug or something, but
Okay.
it's strange that how long it occurred for people.
Let me show you guys this. This is interesting. Yeah, and I completely understand what people are saying here. Hold up. Okay, let me show y'all. Okay, this is the original footage. Let's go back.
But bro, what is going on right now? What is going on right now? Dude, domestic violence is crazy.
Mm.
Yo, everybody be nice to one another. Come on now. What is going on? But bro, what is going on right now?
He said, "Bro."
What is going on right now?
So then, wow. See how he talks? It doesn't even sound like him. I would agree with you on that. Bro. He said, "Bro." Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I see what you meant. I see what you mean by that. You want to be a blogger? No. We already got too many. Holding wine bottle and glass while answering the door could have something to do with the type of alibi. Who knows? He's talking about DV and has no idea the 3 bodies have been collected from his neighbor's backyard. Right, Jackie? Ain't that weird? Like, you're like, the way he's talking? Yeah, like a social media post. I would agree with you on that. Listen, what do you guys think about what the siblings said about the position of the body? I even that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. He wouldn't say sit, but we can assume sit. I don't know. And that's what I'm wondering if this lawyer said to answer the door like you are drunk so the cops can't question you or something like that. Could be. Could be. Who said that they were naked? The guy that he answered the door with no shirt and boxers. I don't know. I think he was in the chair, don't know how or in what position. That's the part that I don't understand. And who was the person that saw that? Was it the fiance that saw him on the chair, near the chair, on the chair, the lawn chair? I don't know. Anyways, guys, I'm going to let you go, but you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments as we're covering this whole situation. Shout out to Jules of All Trades. Make sure you guys check out her channel for that picture that she has on her community wall. Y'all can see the man is answering the door with his boxers and the wine bottle as if he had partied all weekend. And yeah, my understanding is Clay's fiance saw David sitting in the chair. That's how I'm hearing it anyways. Gotcha. It's a lot. What do you guys think? Now, this changes to me. This seeing that picture completely changes my mind about what I think as far as Jordan. I don't know. None of it is making sense. And I truly hope that law enforcement looks at this situation a little bit different because if the story stinks, it just, I don't know, it just stinks. It doesn't make sense. All right, you guys have a great one. I'll see you guys on the next one. And thank you, everybody who bought memberships. Thank you for renewing your membership. You guys are awesome. Rabbits out.